Hey everyone, it's Sean Medilov here back in with another Batman review, and this time I am going to be reviewing Batman Returns, which is the sequel to Batman 1989. And this one, it's a sequel to Batman 1989, and this movie came out in 1992, 2 years into the 1990s, and this movie was really something really special, and I gotta say, this movie's even better than the Batman 1989. So first off, right out the bat, what I loved about this film is that, and there's not really a lot of Batman films that have done this. This is the only Batman film that has really ever done this. Is that it's a Christmas movie. It's set during the time of Christmas, and I love the vibes, the winter vibes, and I love the fact that they made Gotham City, that they made a Gotham City into like a winter city, and this time, and it was really cool, and I loved the fact that we get to see a villain in particular who's a very winter villain, Penguin. And Penguin is really fantastic in the movie. Danny DeVito, of course, an all-time national treasure, plays the Penguin, and he's just awesome in this movie. He's really amazing, and he's kind of has a pretty dark backstory, I gotta say. Really dark. It's not comic accurate, but it's a pretty dark backstory. Basically, if you see in the movie, he gets tortured by a cat when he was a baby, and the parents think he's hideous, so they send him to the sewers where he basically lived with penguins all his life. And it's a pretty messed up backstory for the penguin, but at the time it was something pretty special, and I really loved his performance in this movie, and I think he's really great. And you don't really get to see that a lot in comic book movies. You don't really get to see a lot of like comic accurate, not really comic accurate, stories, but they're really just well done, in a way. And Penguin is one of those characters which is he's not really like comic accurate. I mean, he's comic. His look is comic accurate, but I don't think his backstory is comic accurate. I could be wrong, but yeah, that's one of the characters. But it's just really well done backstory that they give for of how he became like a villain, in this movie. So yeah, and then after that, of course, we have Catwoman. Catwoman's backstory in this movie is also not comic accurate, but honestly, Michelle Pfeiffer does an amazing job. She's really probably the best Catwoman. Yeah, and I think she's number one in my opinion for best Catwoman. I think she's really good, and in this movie she doesn't have like the comic accurate backstory of Catwoman. In this one, she's basically she gets thrown off the roof, and cats save her, and she gets cat-like abilities. So yeah, basically that, and but it was really well done for the time, and it was something for special for the 1990s, early 90s. So that's something really special. Like I said in the movie isn't really, it's not like comic book accurate to the characters, but it's really well done, and it really serves this movie really well. And once again we get to see Michael Keaton back as Batman. I really like him in this movie, and he's just awesome once again. He's really does a great job as Batman, and he's pretty badass. And I really love the fact that this is the first time in live action form that we get to see Batman and Catwoman's chemistry, and this was the first time in live action that we got to see this happen, and it was pretty freaky. I gotta say, it was deadly and freaky. And I gotta say, disclaimer right off the bat, this movie is pretty down bad. It is, I mean, down bad, down horrendous. Well, if you know what I mean by that, it means it's a really freaky movie. It's really freaky. I'm serious. This movie, I don't want to go into it, but it's a pretty freaky movie, uh, all around. And their dynamic it's kind of deadly and freaky. It's like a cat and mouse type of situation going on, and their chemistry in movie it's something that was really special for the first time that came out in 1992. And you know, you don't at the time you didn't get a lot of movies. I bet you didn't have you get a lot of movies where you had this type of dynamic, and this was like really one of the first ones to ever have this kind of dynamic between Catwoman and Batman. But it was something interesting, and it was something really cool, and I think I think Tim Burton did a really great job of bringing that in this film. So yeah, I mean, I really like that. Of course, I mean, outside of that, you also get Selena and Bruce Wayne's chemistry, and their chemistry is perfect as well. Even though it's also deadly, it's still like, it's still fun to see them, you know, having this chemistry outside of what they are, because you know, outside of like their costumes, they may be going deadly against each other, and they have like this kind of this like, you know, well, Catwoman has this hatred towards Batman. So you know, in this movie, they kind of have this crazy deadly relationship, but outside they're just like they're normal, and it was very interesting. It's very interesting, and this was the first time that they ever. Well, okay, I wouldn't say hatred towards Batman. She's kind of, she's kind of like she. I don't know how to really describe it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it's hatred's the right word, but they kind of have like a crazy relationship they're in the costumes. But outside, they're just like regular, and you know, and they're fine with each other. So yeah, I mean, that was very interesting for the 1990s, and something very unique, and that's what I really liked. You know, overall, I think the movie is just really well made. Batman Returns really did something special. It was iconic, and you know, Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman's also really iconic. And Danny DeVito really did a fantastic job as Penguin, and you know, the movie was just, it was all around really just a even better than the first. Even the first had the Joker. This movie just did something totally cool, so totally interesting, and it took it up to the next level. And yeah, I mean, it's the first comic book in the '90s to really take a sequel up to the next level, and it did a great job of that. I mean, overall, it's still, you get some great action scenes. You get a little bit more action scenes in this one. You get that same goofy yet dark feel to the movie, and you know, late '80s, early '90s feel. That's what I love. I mean, that's what I love about this film. And Batman Returns, it's an instant classic. It's an instant classic Batman film, and it's something you really watch. I'd say I recommend it anytime, but it's always great to watch it around Christmas. So I'm gonna give Batman Returns once again a 10 out of 10.